Hey y'all, and if you're new here, welcome to the family. My name is Asia.
My name is Jared, and thank you for listening to
Done with Adulting Podcast. We are really glad you're here because we're talking all things we have to do as adults that no one warned us about during the many years we were in school.
Yes, we also discuss pop culture, current events, and give our perspective on hot topic issues in our society. And even though we're best friends, we don't always agree.
Basically, we're millennials. We get it. Adulting is hard. Welcome to your safe space.
We hope you enjoy.
Okay, now we're live.
Whoever thought this day would come.
The struggle of a lifetime has been just pressing record on this very episode.
This took me back to the day that we first tried to pod ever, and
Day one.
we came with a plan, and that plan did not work.
Literally,
But we were a little better, though, because we actually were able to record now.
I guess.
That first day, we couldn't.
Jared forgot his headphone piece that he needs to hear. He doesn't need it to hear, but it would be nice if he had it. Anyways, the point is, that's why I had to say we're live, because I didn't know if we were on
I can't hear what Asia's hearing right now, but hey.
As long as we're here, honestly, because
it could be worse.
It could be way worse.
Yeah.
But this like I feel like I'm starting over. Like I feel like I don't even know what I'm doing. This has been so long.
We're rusty.
We are so rusty.
Very rusty. So
Rusty doesn't begin to describe what we are.
hang in there with us for a few episodes. We'll try to get better.
We're just dusting off the cobwebs here. Just a couple of parents.
Couple of washed folks.
Couple of old parents.
So the last time we dropped was in February.
Yep.
And is this coming out in July?
Sure.
So you could do the math on how long
Sure.
that has been.
It's been a minute. Well, after February, when I got really towards the end of pregnancy, things were dark. I was like, dark 30 in this household. I was a miserable human being, and I literally didn't even want to be around myself. So being around other people, never mind having to record a podcast, was just like not.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to hear that.
Oh my God, I was a
You, the
mess. Even the episodes I listened back to, like when I was pregnant, like before that last one we put out, I'm just like, I was so miserable. It's just like unfortunate that was a thing. But
Well, I guess for any new listeners here, the reason why we were going for so long because Asia was popping out a whole human.
Had a child.
A whole human. Not a half, a whole.
A whole one, yeah. A big
whole
one,
human
too.
being.
Yeah,
we had a lot going on, though.
We had so much going on. Also, your baby is still not even one. Like, you still have an infant on your hands. And then it took us how many? This must be our 5th try. We have been scheduling to record this episode since my baby was born, which was on April 18th. Okay, so it took us 3 full months
to finally get together and record.
Yeah.
We've been together, but
it's
just we didn't have time to record and give content and all that extra.
So logistics as a parent are wild. Like
you kind of take it for granted when you didn't have kids, but I guess now.
Oh my gosh!
Like even just trying to leave the house with babies.
Yes,
it's crazy.
It's a whole
process.
It takes an hour to leave. An hour to, it's ridiculous.
You have to give yourself more time than you actually expect.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's going to make us better planners. Hopefully.
Hopefully, or just make my kid a hot mess. Struggling to always get out of the house. Either or.
So if you haven't seen, I guess, Asia's social media, or if you don't know us personally, I guess you wouldn't know that this episode will be about Asia's birth story. Well, I guess you'll see the title, so you'll know.
Because we did one for your child. We did Jovi's birth story, which we had Emily on for.
Yeah, where's Big T at?
Well, he was going to be on, but then it's like, who's going to watch my kid?
True.
When Emily was on, she was upstairs in the nursery rocking Jovi, and she called in from upstairs.
Did she?
Yes. We were trying to do it downstairs, but then obviously we forgot some
yeah.
equipment like we do every single time. And
Oh yeah, she did call in.
So
yeah.
she just called in through our Bluetooth technology on this.
So we could have did that for this episode.
We could have, except Terrence isn't as good of a multitasker. I'm actually convinced dads aren't as good as multitaskers as
I would agree with
moms. It's really hard for them to be like holding the baby and doing literally anything else other than scrolling on your phone.
You might have, I mean, there might be some truth to that.
You would just prefer not to, whereas moms are like almost always doing more than one thing.
I think Emily, like, she legit cooks while holding her. Like,
me too.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that.
I'd be doing crazy stuff while holding her. So anyways, and I also felt like when Jovi was born, we had to have Emily on because she's obviously the one that gave birth to her. So who are you telling what that was like? Yeah. Whereas Terrence was just a bystander, and I can fully tell you what his experience was.
That's true.
Like.
Touche.
And also, he has to watch our kid.
I do think they would have liked to hear Summer's first.
If he brings her down here during recording, he can hop on and answer a question or two for you.
Or we can hear her for the first time ever, make her debut.
So yeah, I was miserable from February to April. And when I say miserable, I mean like another level of miserable I've never experienced before.
And you were late.
Yes, I went all the way to 40 weeks and then
some.
And then some. I opted to be induced which was not the part of the plan.
Well, I guess before we get into the story, how annoying was it
to be late?
Or was it annoying when a lot of people hit you up, giving you
every day,
giving you, I guess, giving you ideas on how to actually speed up the process?
Oh my God!
Or giving you suggestions.
The whole last.
Was it annoying or did you actually
No, it was so annoying because I did all those things. Obviously, what do they think I was doing? I have nothing but time. Of course, I tried everything you're telling me, but the whole last 2 weeks before she came was like miserable because every single day somebody was texting me about how I'm feeling or is she here yet, and have I tried this or not, this or that, and the answer is always I feel terrible. She's not here yet, and I've tried everything, and it's like. I was feeling bad because every single person, including you, who reached out, like, were just trying to be thoughtful and caring. And, like, I am appreciative of that. But when it's, like...
Yeah, when it's a lot of people.
30 messages a day, to me, it feels like I'm saying it every 2 seconds. So the person at the end, like, I just stopped answering people's phones. Like, my cousins were calling me and, like...
Oh, now calls are different, too. Like, text you could at least answer in your own time. But
no.
Don't call me, bro.
Bruh.
Like, what if I'm actually giving birth?
Well, I wouldn't answer the calls, and then they would think I was actually giving birth, and then I'd get inundated with texts. So yeah, it was quite the struggle. I was just over it. Like at that point, it's just I was over the whole pregnancy and the whole time. If you listen to any episode of this while I was pregnant, I'm probably being like such a negative Nancy, but it just like was not fun for me.
But that's actually like a good, I guess, viewpoint to hear because there's other people who actually enjoyed it and
I don't know who those people are, but I would love to know why. Because the thing about me, like my experience was like
I feel like from the jump it was you hated.
I was and I did, and you know what? I sometimes feel guilty, which I shouldn't, but I'm just gonna say this because I feel like people can relate. I felt guilty saying that I was miserable or like just even being miserable in general because.
Now I had your precious little baby.
Well, no. Well, yeah, sure, but like that's not what I was gonna say. But I had a very normal, healthy pregnancy. Like some people are literally throwing up every day, or like even having I had really nothing like other than regular pregnancy stuff, annoying like being fat, whatever that type of stuff, but nothing that was like, oh, you like that would. Justify how fucking miserable I was, but I just didn't like it, and that's that. I'm allowed to not like it. Obviously when I saw her, I was like, had I known it was you the whole time in there, maybe I wouldn't have been so miserable. And I think the next time around, if I have another child, I will maybe have a different mindset because I'll know a little bit of what to expect.
Appreciate it a little bit more. Not that you didn't appreciate it, but
I'll have better expectations. Like this first time was just. I'm not proud of it.
It wasn't it.
It just was a no for me.
It wasn't it.
It's a no for me. So anyways, at the end, I was so I was just like, get this kid out of me. So I got to my due date, which we have to bring up.
Oh, yes.
Because we talked about it on the podcast and our longtime listeners will remember this. But I kept telling Jared and everybody that I thought she was going to be born on April 11th because I saw this astrologer 2 years ago who told me I was having a Saturn return on April 11th, 2022. This is before I was even pregnant, blah, blah, blah. It's in some old episode. And
they basically guessed that something big was going to happen around that time, no?
Yes. And that it had to do with like my family unit and
That's insane.
And my due date was April 12th and she said April 11th. So I was like, it's definitely going to be April 11th. Now I'm convincing myself this baby's coming out April 11th. So April 11th comes and fucking goes. My dumbass on April 11th is like, I can't do anything. I think I'm going to go into labor today. Like, this woman's word is Bible. Yeah, nothing happened. So, but I don't think she was like still totally off. It was only a week later. Like, she still was in the vicinity of
I think that was a
change.
Yeah, and I think that was like that's crazy to me.
Especially because she said it before I was pregnant.
Would you go back and try to get some more info out of her?
Yeah, I don't think she does. I don't know if she does readings anymore. I don't even know. I was gonna reach out to her and be like.
But it's funny because I remember when she said that, and we talked about it on the pod, and I was like,
"What if you have a baby?"
Yeah, and you were like,
"Fuck no."
You definitely like threw that out the window. You were like, you rolled your eyes and everything. You were like, "Nah, that's definitely like, too early.
Can't be that."
Yeah, he was like, that's the last thing that's gonna happen.
Yeah, joke.
And here we are.
So April 11th came and went. So then the doctor, I went every week. You know, you go every week to the doctor.
Yeah, as you, yep.
And went like the last month. Every week I would go to the doctor and just cry my eyes out because I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And she was like, and every week they would say 0 centimeters, 0.0000. And she kept being like, don't like let that upset you. A lot of women are not 0. Like just because you're not moving along doesn't mean it can't happen like tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, but is it going to happen tomorrow? Because I just can't. So she was like, if it doesn't happen by this day, we're going to induce you. Let's pick an induction date, which she wanted it to be Monday, the 18th, which was actually the day she was born. But I was like, no, can it be Sunday? Because Monday was the Boston Marathon. And the hospital we were giving birth at is literally on the route. So who's going through that? So
just more added stress to an already stressful situation.
Gosh. So yeah, the day before that though was Easter Sunday. Whole time I'm thinking about Easter Sunday, I'm gonna be home with the baby snuggled up, having like burgers, and I was
some good food.
Driving to the hospital at 6:30 in the morning to be induced. On
Easter. So did you hit any marathon traffic?
No, we had to be there at 8 a.m. and. You know, I almost think it was better that we ended up getting induced like it was meant to be that way because my biggest fear prior to being induced was something like I'm going to go into labor, like panic. Terrence is going to be panicking.
You won't be able to get to
We're going to be in traffic. Yeah, I'm going to give birth in the car. Like this was my biggest fear because we're kind of far from that hospital.
Yeah, you are.
It's only 25 minutes without traffic, but traffic, forget it. So... that
in
morning
25 minutes when you're in labor could be
forget it. So that morning we wake up, take showers, taking our time, pack a little bag up. My mom comes and gets the dog. Like it was very like
nonchalant.
Not nonchalant, but I could prepare. Like every step I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Versus like
if your water broke,
going crazy. Yeah. So we get there at 8 a.m. and we had to wait in the lobby for a while because they were like short on nurses and there was mad people in there having babies, I guess. And so we're sitting in the lobby, like I'm starting to get a little bit nervous, but I'm still just like chilling. And our doctor had said like if it comes to the point where we have to go to induction, like be prepared to wait a long time. Like you're not gonna have the baby that day. So I wasn't that nervous because I was like, I don't think the baby's gonna come till tomorrow.
I got time still.
Yeah. So we're sitting in the lobby in this tiny. It's not the labor and delivery area. It's like the induction area, which you guys probably know. Jared. And Jared and us gave birth at the same. Not Jared gave birth. You know what I'm saying? We both had our babies at the same hospital. But I don't know if you guys went to the induction area because Emily just went into labor. So.
Well, no, because. Actually, you're right. So yeah, actually,
you just like went straight to the labor and delivery room.
Yeah, but no, because when we went there first in the morning when our water broke, and they were like, "Oh, the water broke, but you're still not ready." So,
but were you in like a little tiny room?
Yeah,
with like not that much stuff in it. Like it was literally just
it definitely wasn't like labor.
Yeah. So that's where we were at. And as we're sitting in that little lobby waiting to get like checked into our induction room, this girl who's in full labor,
she going through it?
Going through it. Like me and Terrence are joking around, we're laughing, trying to pass the time, like looking at stuff on Instagram, and then this nurse starts rolling this woman down the hall. The woman is like full, like loud contractions, and the nurse is pushing her. The dad is like walking behind them with 2 coffees. It looked like they had been there all night. And the nurse is like, sorry. She like looks at us on the way by. She's like, sorry, we'll be right with you. Like sorry it's taking so long. And this girl is screaming, and she just like rolls by, and her screaming just gets quieter and quieter going into the labor. And I literally started panicking. I was like, this is about to be me. Like, fuck.
It's about to hit the fan.
I think I literally turned white because Terrence was like, are you okay?
Reality set in.
I was like, shit, man.
You're like, okay, no more joking around.
Panicking.
Yeah, you're like, no more joking around.
So whatever. We get into the room. Now I'm panicked, and I'm like, I'm 6 days late at this point. I've passed my due date, so I'm like, maybe I'll be a little bit dilated. 0, 0, zeros, everything 0. 0 dilation, 0 effacement.
Like, what's going on,
0 position, whatever. And I'm pissed. I'm like, of course. So they just start. It's not like it's like a pill that you take every 3 hours. It's not the Pitocin yet, so it's a pill. And they're like, you're gonna take the pill. You're gonna go on the baby monitor things for an hour, so we can monitor your all's heart rate. And then the second 2 hours, you can be off and walk around. And we'll just do that until you get dilated enough to be admitted to labor and delivery, which they said was like 2 centimeters. So now like they put me on the first dose, like nothing's happening. We're relaxing. It's a beautiful day. It's Easter. The Celtics are about to play the Nets in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh.
Terrence leaves, gets lunch from this place down the street, and Wellesley brings it back. He's stretching during the game. During the basketball game, he's
about to get a workout.
Takes out like he had packed like snacks because we knew we were gonna be there all day. Yeah. Takes out a water bottle full of what looks like orange juice, and I'm like, "Is this orange juice?" And he was like, "And vodka." And I was like,
he pregame the baby,
bro. He's like, "What? The game is on. Like, what are we?" They said we were gonna be here.
Hey, that's big energy.
Bruh, I was like, you did not. So he's sipping out of a Poland Spring water bottle, orange juice and vodka, and I'm just hooked up to these monitors. So all day.
That was the first game too. So that first game, did it go into OT? Or I know they won at the buzzer.
They won at the buzzer. But I don't know if it was overtime, but also just as a sidebar, that the whole playoffs, like because that first day we were going into induction, like the whole playoffs that we ended up fucking losing, which is like a symbol of like my first like, labor and delivery, but then also like our first couple weeks with Summer, like the whole NBA playoffs was like, it's just like I'll remember that playoffs forever because
for sure.
We'd be watching like trying to watch the game, but put her down like, oh my God, it was crazy.
And mind you, they went to the finals, so that's definitely
all the way to the finals, which I wanted to tell Summer when she got older. That was the year they won the championship. But we're not going to go there.
Maybe in the next one.
Maybe next year. So all day this goes on from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Just waiting.
9 p.m. they check again.
Did he finish by 9 p.m. Did he finish the bottle? He was a little
fully. He's, whatever. Going to the car. Taking breaks, coming back. So
are you just rolling your eyes?
I'm just like, whatever, like we have time, I guess. Like, and then at 9:30 they checked again, and I was not even 1. They were like, you're almost 1 centimeter. I was like, excuse me?
This is ridiculous.
So the lady's like, we're gonna put in this balloon thing to help you go faster, and it was like a balloon, and then they like fill it with water to help like the dilation or something. And I'm just
painful
like,
or no?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a good time. But once you put that in, like things started to happen a little faster. Yeah. But I'm on my 3rd or 4th dose of this pill that they're giving me every 3 hours. So they say by the 3rd or 4th dose, like things start to speed up. And then I got this balloon thing. So Then I get this rude ass nurse. All my nurses at the hospital were amazing except for one at the end.
She was overnight?
She was, but we left, like she was in the induction area and we left the induction. We only had her for a couple hours before they put us in labor and delivery. So we would have had her all night, but I got far enough along to go to labor and delivery. But anyway, so they put the thing in and then like I started having little contractions, but nothing crazy. And the doctor was like, okay, at like 11:30, she was like, you're about to be 2 centimeters. Like you can go over to labor and delivery now and you can get the epidural whenever you want. And I was like, I want it right now. And she was like,
so
did you
have any like bad contractions?
They were like, they weren't the kind that you see. Like they weren't the kind that probably Emily was having by the time you got there. Those came, but at this point they weren't them. Yeah. But I was feeling it. I was like, this is not that much fun.
Oh yeah. You're like, okay.
Things are escalating. Yeah. And so I'm like, I want it right now. And I knew it was going to take a while to get it because I wasn't in labor and delivery. I didn't even have an IV in. They had to take my blood, do all these tests. So I was like, give it to me right now. So I asked at 11:30, and by the time they brought me over to the labor room and they started giving me the epidural, it was 2:30 in the morning. So by 2:30 in the morning, I'm contracting. Like things are
you like tired too mentally, physically?
Yes, we had been there since 8 a.m.
Yeah,
I'd been up since 6 a.m.
Yeah, you left 6:30, so
I was
almost 24 hours
verbally having contractions, and Terrence was shook. And so finally they go to give you the epidural, and the anesthesiologist had come in a frantic, I don't know, frenzy from like some emergency C-section. That's another reason why it took so long for them to come to my room and give me the epidural.
Was it a guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So was everybody else, they were all ladies, all women?
Yeah, all my nurses, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually, and the doctor was a woman.
Yeah, most of the doctors at that practice are women.
Yeah. So that was one thing I was shocked to see, was like all women.
That's cool. I mean, nurses usually, but doctors.
Yeah. They used, or the guy came in, gave her the epidural, and then that was the only other guy I saw the rest of the
time. This guy it took him like almost 15 minutes. I mean, like to
get there, or once he was in the room with you?
I mean, he poked me like 4 or 5 times.
Are you serious?
Dead.
So he wasn't getting it right?
Was not getting it right. And
actually, here's a question. Did you see the needle or no?
No, I didn't see it. And like,
because you hear how huge it is.
Yeah, I didn't look at it. But to get it, you have to like lean over, and put your head down. Yeah. So I'm stuck like that for like 15 minutes. Was Terrence holding you? Yeah, like he had one arm and the nurse had the other arm. But like, he was so shook because it was taking so long. Like, because the nurse was like, if you feel any shooting pain, say if it's left, right, or middle, depending on where you feel it. So I literally kept being like, right. Like I said right like 4 times. And he was like, okay, this is good. Da-da-da. Like he kept being like, thank you for telling me that you're feeling shooting pains, because that's not supposed to happen. And Terrence was literally like, after the fact, he was like, what the fuck was wrong with that guy? And so they finally get it. And within 5 minutes, I'm like, the next set of contractions I didn't even feel. And I was like, this is the best shit ever. Yeah. I don't know why, other than not having enough time to get the epidural, some people get there too late.
Why they would want to go through that?
Why?
People want to be natural. I don't know.
Why?
Like, I don't know. People want to be. They want to say they had the experience. Maybe it's like a family thing that's been passed down.
No, some people natural. Like obviously there are risks, and like there are documentaries that I've watched about like hospital births and epidurals, and like there is like you know, like whatever. He
jabbed you 4 times and.
It's also like the medication affect like getting to the baby or something. Like there's genuine concern, but I still don't.
You're like, once you felt it, you were like, nah.
I still don't understand, because
we'll take the risk.
Many people, I feel like it's a small percentage.
Oh, for sure.
So then like finally we're relaxing. It's 3:30 in the morning. The lady's like, soon you're gonna get some sleep. I'm gonna get you all hooked up and then get out of here so you can sleep. So by 4:30 maybe I'm asleep for the first time in like 24 hours. And we slept until like 8 o'clock. Then when the doctor's shifts change, and then
I was about to ask, did they wake you up or you woke up like just on your own?
No, they woke me up when the doctors Well, the nurses are in every 4.5 fucking seconds anyways. So like,
check your vitals.
yeah, I
things
was
like that.
up every couple hours and my blood pressure was high. So they had the thing on me the whole time. So, which I like, the thing squeezes the life out of you every time it turns on every 25 minutes. So whatever, I'm not in the best sleep ever, but at least I'm resting and it's dark in my room and I can't feel anything. So the doctor comes in the morning and that balloon thing that she put in earlier had fallen out on its own, which is what it's supposed to happen. And they say that when that happens, you're at least 3 centimeters because that's how big it gets.
Yeah.
So that thing had fallen down. The doctor's like, great, your balloon thing fell out. Like, let's check. And I was 6 centimeters.
Oh,
at
wow.
8 a.m. Yeah, things really progressed because they also had me on the Pitocin too. But I wasn't feeling a thing. Like I was like living my best life. Then like, everything started to really pick up very quickly and I actually started to feel contractions again and the nurse was like, oh, you're not on like the highest level of epidural. You can bump it. We can top you off. That's literally how she described it. I was like, top me off. Get that guy in here and top me off because.
So was he better this time or?
Well, now the drip is in your back. It's just like a different type of. It's just like a stronger medicine. So he tops me off. Now I'm not really feeling anything. And it's like 10 o'clock and I'm 8 centimeters. And the nurse is like, you need to go to sleep because
it's about to get real.
Yeah, you're going to need all your energy. So you need to close your eyes for like an hour and a half. I'm going to leave you alone. I was like,
leave her alone. Leave me alone then. I'll sleep for an hour and a half.
So that's exactly what I did. I wake up at 11:30 and they're like, yep, you're ready to go. You're ready to push. But I had a lot of epidural, like probably a little too much. Like my legs were a little too heavy. And they were like, we want to let that wear off just a little bit so you have some like awareness, but you still won't like be in pain.
You won't, yeah.
So she was like, I'll be back in 30 minutes, 12 o'clock, game time. Obviously now I'm panicking. They leave. They're like, I'll be back in 30 minutes. You're going to start pushing a baby out of you. I'm like, for the whole 30 minutes asking the nurse a million questions. I'm like, so then what happens? And what about if this? Like, I'm panicked.
Yeah. Mine's just racing.
And they come back at 12 o'clock. They're like, all right, let's do this. And they're like, just so you know, so for your expectations, it's your first kid and you're being induced. So the average push time is 2 to 4 hours. And I was like, yeah, fuck that. Also, everyone that I knew, including Emily, pushed for like 30 minutes. Yeah, all of my friends were like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes max. Everyone,
so you were like, yeah.
Everyone that I knew that had babies in the past year was like 30 minutes or less. And I was like, if they can do it, I can fucking do it. So I said to the lady, I was like, yeah, I'm hoping to have this done in 30 minutes.
What'd she do? Did she laugh?
Literally, she was like, okay.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
She was like, okay, so let the games begin. Now we're literally in the Hunger Games. I'm pushing.
The Hunger Games.
Bruh.
Wait, did Terrence have another bottle of OJ?
No, he was just going back and forth to the car. Go to the car. Come back. And so now when it's time to push, so he's, the same thing you were doing. You hold the leg, hold the neck up.
Yeah.
But like the end.
Was he holding your hand or?
Yeah, the end. Well,
squeezing?
One had the leg, one had the arm. I don't even remember. Honestly, it was a blur. But the end goal, the thing that I want to say is that this ends up taking 2 full hours.
Oh, Jesus.
And so now that we know this fact, they're like, in the beginning, they tell you how to push. They're like, you're going to take a deep breath in, push for 10 seconds, don't make any noise, and then do that 3 times. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I do it. I practice one. They're like, great, with the doctor. Mm-hmm. And the doctor, she's like, all right, see ya. She leaves. And the nurse is like, all right, let's keep going, blah, blah, blah. So the nurse, who I loved, but in this moment, she pissed me off. She was like, do you want me to do your counts for you? Do you want me to count to 10? And I was like, yes, I would love that. Especially as an athlete. Like, I love hearing you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like reminded me of like some terrible drill we were doing. So I'm like, yes, please count me down.
Put my mind somewhere else.
So she would go. It would be time to push it. I start pushing, right? She'd be like, great job. Okay, can you give me a little bit more? Just give me a little more. And then I give her a little more and she'd be like, good, perfect. Keep it right there. Okay, 2, 3. And I literally was like, woman, it has been 7 seconds already. All that blabbering. Start counting. And she did that like probably 4 or 5 times before I finally was like, I wasn't making it the whole 10 seconds when she was counting. I would stop at like 7 because it really had been 17 seconds. And I was like, I can't breathe. I can't hold my breath for that long. And And she was like, you don't have to do the whole 10 seconds if you don't want to. Like, just,
you're like, I already did 10 seconds.
Yeah. And I was like, I'll just count myself. Thanks. So I started counting myself. And then this other lady, she was like a nurse assistant. Like she was literally a student. So they were like teaching her stuff while they were flipping me over.
Don't
yes.
Don't be doing that with me.
So
do that with somebody else.
Bro, the little girl, I kept saying little girl because she looked so little. She was probably in her 20s, but she looks little. But she was like, do you want a mirror? And I was like, why would I want a mirror? And she was like, oh, sometimes it helps with motivation. And I was like, no, thank you. So I told her no. Then she asked me again, I don't even know. I have no concept of time. Maybe it was 20 minutes later. I don't know. But she asked me again, and I was like, no, I'm sure. I don't.
Maybe as you were getting closer.
Maybe, but.
Did you end up getting the mirror or no?
No, fuck no. Someone asked me again, and I literally. Did Emily get it?
Yes. Do you get, what is your thoughts on what the mirror will look like?
I imagine it's traumatizing to see.
No, I'm talking about what the actual mirror looks like.
Oh, it's probably huge. It's probably a full length.
Yo, that thing was humongous.
Yeah.
It may just rolled it in on wheels and just plop.
I could never.
Yeah.
So an hour goes by and the nurse is like, okay, you've been pushing for an hour. And I'm like, what?
How long did you think it was?
I don't know. It felt like a long time, but it also didn't feel like an hour, like in a weird way. Like I was like, I feel like I've been here forever, but also how could it be an hour? Because in my mind, I had to set on 30 minutes and whatever.
So you were like, dag.
Yeah, but then she goes, probably one more hour and the baby will be here. And I was like, excuse me? One more? Are you kidding me?
I got to do this for another whole hour.
I was like, how do you know? She was just like, I just know. She's like, but if you buckle down and give some good, like you're taking a poop, it might happen faster.
So she was telling you to put some more effort in without telling you to put more effort in?
I'm like, you think that I'm half-assing it right now?
Does she sound like Trish? You sound like Trish Brown?
I'm like, you think I'm not trying everything that I'm doing right now? So whatever. Another hour goes by and I'm Jared. Oh, also after the 1 hour mark went by, they're like, Dad, do you want to take a quick break? And Terrence is like, yes, I would love a break. He literally sits down. The nurse has to come around and hold my leg because he's taking a break, scrolling on his phone, just on a break for like 3 sets of contractions.
On a break from holding the leg.
Bruh.
Not pushing.
That's a whole nother thing. And you know how before they ask you like, oh, do you want, well, we didn't know the gender. So they were like, do you want to announce the gender? And he was like, sure. He didn't really know what that meant, I don't think, when he said sure. And then they were like, do you want to cut the cord? And he was like, sure, I guess. He also didn't know like really what that meant.
Yeah.
He was just like, if they're asking me, obviously it's like a thing, so I guess I'll do it. So whatever. The second hour goes by. She's about to be here. The nurse is like, if you give me one more push like that last one, I'll call the doctor in here to catch her. So I'm like, okay, like I'm trying. And then the baby's nurse had to come in, and she didn't know that the other nurse had asked me if I wanted
the baby nurse, the little young one.
No, the nurse for the baby when the baby's born, the pediatric.
I was you meant the young looking
the girl. No, the nurse for the baby came in, and she didn't know that the student nurse asked me if I wanted a mirror already a couple times. She was like, "Do you want a mirror, honey?" And I was like, "I don't want a fucking mirror." I started screaming, and then I'm like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell." Like I'm literally a mess, yo. I'm a mess.
Are you crying? Tears flowing?
I'm not crying. I'm talking to who knows. I'm talking to Jesus himself, myself. I'm talking to Summer. I'm like, come on, like, please, God, like, just let me do. And like in between, I don't know if it's happened with Emily. This is like not TMI, but it was like something I did not expect. But like in between the contractions, it's only like 60 seconds of rest, but my whole body is shaking.
Ooh.
Like shaking, like uncontrollable shakes to the point where like the nurse and Terrence are like just putting pressure on my chest so it doesn't feel like I'm gonna literally lose my shit. But I couldn't help it. I literally had no control. I was just shaking, and they were like, yeah, that's from the adrenaline and also the drugs. And I'm just like, Lord, help.
Are they like feeding you water at this point too, or no?
Yes, water, Gatorade.
Oh, Gatorade, some electrolytes.
Bruh, the Boston Marathon was happening outside my window, and I'm in my own marathon in the hospital.
Facts.
I start pushing at 12:15. She arrives at 2:18, literally exactly 2 hours later. And now they're like, and when the baby's born, as you know, it is a whirlwind. It's like, whoa, what is happening? This thing just came flying out of this body.
Yo, that joint does come flying. I ain't gonna hold you.
Bruh, so much fluid. I was like, what the fuck?
I was not expecting that.
Flying. And they're like, okay, Dad, what's the gender? And I can see on Terrence's face, he has no idea what he's looking at. He was trying not even to look down there, but they're holding the baby up right over
Yeah.
thing. And I couldn't see, like I could see, but the umbilical cord was in front of her private part. So
You don't know.
but I knew it was a girl. Like I had said girl the whole time throughout the whole pregnancy. So whatever. I knew it was a girl. And Terrence is like, I don't know, a boy? He's like, they're like, look again, Dad.
Yo, that's hilarious.
It was so.
I wish that was like filmed or something.
I literally was like not even paying attention to Terrence because I knew he didn't know what the hell he was doing. I was like, it is not a boy. Like he said that and I didn't even react. I was like, no, it's
Just
not a
gave him
boy.
the side eye.
Bruh. And then they're like, okay, time to cut the cord. His face, oh my God, I literally wish it was recorded because it was so funny. He was not enjoying this part. And then after the fact, like after we were in recovery and stuff, and we were like, what just happened? You know, when you're just like, Jesus Christ, we just had a baby. And we're like talking about it.
It's a whole
And
process.
yeah, he's like, we're processing it. And he's like, who started this tradition of dads cutting the cord? He's like, I don't understand. He's like, I don't want to do that again. He's like, aren't I paying these nurses? He was like, aren't I paying these nurses through my insurance? Like, finish the job. He was so pissed. And he's like, and if you're going to make me do the job, why do you give me these dull scissors?
So he was struggling
He was
to cut
going in. No, yeah, it wouldn't cut. He was like 100 times struggling. He's like, the scissors were dull. And this isn't my job anyways. Like, he could not understand.
it.
Oh my gosh. So she was finally born. Thank God.
Were there
After
any
2 hours.
Any tears drop from either?
Oh yeah, Terrence was sobbing to the point where like I've never even seen him cry like that before ever in our whole 7 years of life. And I wasn't crying. I was just so relieved. Like I looked like I was crying because I was sweaty and like I was crying earlier probably during pushing. So there was like a lot happening, but I mostly was just relieved. It's like immediate relief.
Oh yeah.
And
especially when you know like the baby's healthy.
yeah, and she's just laying on me. She's not crying. Like they did everything, all the tests and shots and fucking juice that they put on them. They did it all while she was on my chest. So she was on my, like she came out and they put her on my chest and she was there for like 45 minutes before they like took her off and weighed her out. They were like, whenever you're ready. So
skin contact.
yeah, it was nice. And she was just looking at Terrence just like she does now, eyes all open, and he was crying. And it was so funny because her name, so her name is Summer Edith Watson, and Edith is my dad's mother's name. And when I had we had kind of already knew her name was going to be Summer. That was the only name we liked the whole pregnancy, but we never decided on a middle name. So I had said that I wanted the name Edith, like along, like halfway through the pregnancy, like that 25 weeks or something. I had put it out there, and he's like, I don't really like that name.
Did he know the meaning yet?
Well, so then I was like, whoa.
He just came out off rip. Oh, I don't like that.
He's like, no, that's a bad name. And I was like, well, it would just really mean a lot to me because that was my dad's mother's name, and like it's just a family name. Like I think my dad would really like it. And he's like, yeah, don't count on it.
Ruthless.
He was just like,
ruthless.
He was just like, I don't know. Like he was not committed to it at all. And I told my therapist, actually, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna convince him to use the name. Like I might just have to like bring on the waterworks when the baby's born. And so then when the baby was born, they were like,
also, y'all didn't have this planned out.
No, because we still didn't know we were having. We didn't know if she was a boy or a girl.
True. Yeah.
He didn't want to commit to any names. He didn't even want to commit to Summer, really. He was only 90% committed, he says.
It was kind of Emily. Emily was like that too.
Yeah, until he saw the baby. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't think that's how it works, but whatever.
I'm like, it's going to be too late. The baby's going to be here. They're gonna be like, what's the name? And you're going to be like.
No, babies are nameless. And if Summer was a boy, she would have been fully nameless for like several days. Because
y'all didn't have one for the
zero.
For a boy?
Not a single name we agreed on for a boy.
Actually, I was going to say it's Summer unisex, but.
No. We didn't have a single name. So when she was born, they were like, do you have a name? And we were both looking at each other. We're like, it's definitely Summer, right? And we were like, yeah, it's Summer. And then I was like, we still don't have a middle name. And Terrence is bawling his eyes out. And I'm like, and I'm not crying at all. I'm just laying there, legs all open, getting cleaned up. And I'm like, I still really want Edith. And he's like, I don't even care anymore. After everything he just witnessed, he was like, I don't care. Name her whatever you want. So that's how I won the name Edith. And obviously now he likes it. But yeah, he was not having it. So whatever.
So I guess out of that process, this whole thing, what was something that happened that you just didn't expect, or I guess you weren't ready?
It was really the aftermath. And again, I had a very like healthy, like we're very lucky. Like everything happened. She was healthy. Everyone was healthy. She had to go to ICU. Nothing like that. It was a very healthy process, which I was happy about, aside from the 2 hours of pushing, which was hell. But that was something I wasn't expecting. But it was really the recovery, like the next morning. I expected obviously my birthing areas to be in pain. But when I woke up the next morning, and from the top of my head to the bottom of my toes, my body was in pain. Like,
hey, you just went through like you said, a marathon.
I've experienced extreme levels of soreness, like preseason, you
played a football game.
From playing, even from like my idea of soreness from preseason basketball, like that was our peak
like
soreness.
Training camp.
Yeah. And I have this blew it out of the water times 100. I was like, why do my biceps hurt? Like, why does every piece, like that's what I was not
basically
expecting.
Every single muscle in your body.
Single muscle. And I was having the shakes. Like bruh. You needed
an ice bath after.
I needed an ice bath so bad. But then also the thing that sucks is I don't understand why people don't get that epidural, but people who give birth like at home, they can't have an epidural. But I get that because those hospital beds, I felt like were making it worse. Like, and even for dads or whoever, like sleeping in the fucking chairs, like I was by that point, we left on Wednesday, we'd been there since Sunday.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I've been in this hospital for 7 years, and like by the time, and even in the hospital, even in the hospital, like I wasn't like, no milk was coming through, like she was drinking formula in the hospital, like nothing was happening, and I was so frustrated. And as soon as we got home, like everything just like clicked into place, thank God,
because felt like comfortable.
Yes, it was totally different. But I would say like the recovery is one part that nobody talks about that like is crazy.
And you also had a doula this whole experience, no?
Yeah, she was virtual, so like she wasn't in the room, but throughout the time at the hospital, like we were FaceTiming her and like texting her. So like if the doctor said something that like maybe I didn't really understand what she was saying or something, I would like ask, like I would just like tell it to her, and she would say like, oh, you can ask them for this, or you can say like.
So you were saying this in front of the doctor while?
No, not while. Well, I was texting her, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
But then when the doctor would leave, and I would just call her and update her, and then they were there every 2 seconds, so I could just ask like when they came back.
So I guess if you had another one, would you do a doula again? Would you suggest a doula to other parents, or? Yeah,
I really liked it because, like throughout the pregnancy and the delivery and stuff, and afterwards, I had just someone like at my fingertips that I could call. That
ask
like
questions.
Yeah, that wasn't a doctor, because sometimes doctors are like,
yeah,
I don't know, you don't want to always ask your questions to the doctors, like they don't understand you, or you just don't know them that well. Like the doctor that delivered the baby like is almost never the doctor you're seeing the whole time, so you're just like not as comfortable. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend it. I mean, they would have been better if she could have been there, which she could have. Like if she was local, they said like doulas were allowed, so maybe that's what I would do differently, is have like an in-person one. But yes, I loved my doula. Shout out to Sid from Sid with Love is her Instagram handle. She's the best.
Shout out to the homie from the show.
So yeah, but we made it through. Now summer's here, and to be honest with you, listen. In theory, I could not have any more kids and feel totally fulfilled. Like easily could be one and done. In like logically, I know that Summer's life would be better if she had a sibling or two.
Yeah.
It definitely won't be 2 siblings. if there is a sibling, there will be one. But I just like there will be no back to backs. Like it's gonna be.
It'll be a minute.
Yes, because I still am very much traumatized. Less by birth and like more, but to me, pregnancy is worse than birth, just because it's so long.
Yeah.
And so miserable at the end.
Did I guess for your second, if you do decide to have a second, are you gonna find out the gender, or are you gonna do the same thing?
I'll probably find out the gender.
Find out.
And
how do you like that whole process, not knowing until she came out?
I liked it because people don't ask you about names as much if they don't know the gender.
It's true.
And they just don't ask you as much in general. They're just like,
especially like our family.
Yeah.
Like, they'll be like, "Oh, what's the name? What's
Yeah,
the name?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
the name? What's
Every
the name?"
2 seconds.
Like, we kind of kept it a secret until
Yeah, you did.
she came. Did you tell anybody?
I mean, we didn't know. We had a few options. Like, we didn't mind sharing what the options were. Like, we told a couple people Summer was like on the list.
Gotcha.
But we gave them more than one name on the list.
Gotcha.
But nobody really asked that much, which was the nice part.
Yeah, because you didn't know the gender, so yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like for the next one, they will. What's the baby's name?
Oh God. If it's a boy, it'll be a nameless.
So how was the first couple nights after, when you're in the hotel room?
She in
No
the hotel
sleep.
room.
I mean,
in the hospital.
in the
I
hospital.
wish it was a fucking hotel room.
In the hospital.
No sleep. No, Terrence didn't
Those
want to
rooms
send
were
her to
kind
the
of big. I ain't
nursery.
gonna hold you though.
Yeah, they're big enough, but like it still just sucks.
It's still a hospital.
God, it sucks. They're there every hour taking my blood pressure, like
No
checking on the
sleep.
baby. Terrence is like, I don't want to go to the nursery yet. I'm the one waking up in the middle of the night. I'm like, somebody take this baby to the nursery.
Yo, so when we went in, I was like, yeah, I don't think I want the baby on the nursery because
You don't know what happens in the nursery?
yeah, you like our baby can just be taken or something. Like, I'm like, you never know. But those nights that she went to the nursery, some great sleep. I can't hold you.
Good sleep, because when we got home, no sleep. No fucking
Or
sleep.
even in the hotel room when she's in there. It's
Oh,
like,
hospital.
yeah, why do I keep saying
I
hotel
don't
room?
know.
I've been traveling. I keep thinking hotel room. Hospital, yes, hospital.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like no sleep.
no sleep.
I was
Zero.
like, I'll be fine. A couple days in, I was like,
You're
yo,
tired.
this Sean is kicking my butt.
Yeah, I remember you tweeted like, I always thought parents were being dramatic about the no sleep thing.
Yeah, it was like, no, they're
No,
not
they're
being
not.
dramatic.
You know, Summer, when we got home, she, like any other baby, she was up every couple hours. But after like a month, after 4 weeks or so, she started sleeping like longer, like 5 hours.
Nice.
And now at 2.5 months, she'll put together like a good 8 to 9 every night.
It's insane.
It is insane now that the whole child is here and she just belongs to me and I'm
Basically, you
responsible
have
for
a
her.
3-month-old now.
Yeah, almost July 18th.
Insane.
2.5 months.
Well,
It goes by so fast. Like even the first, like we
Bro.
took our family pictures when she was 4 weeks, and then we got them back a month later, and she was 8 weeks. And I opened the pictures, and I was like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
She didn't even look the same.
totally different. It's
I literally
crazy.
was like, "Who is this baby?" Like, that
face changes.
everything changes.
They're bigger now already.
Ridiculous.
It's crazy how fast they grow.
Yeah, your kid's about to be 1.
Yeah.
We were
Like, you
just-
always hear people, like, growing up, you always hear people saying
Oh,
that.
they grow up so fast.
But,
No,
like,
but they actually do.
It's literally a fact.
Well, when we took Jared and I and our other friend took our families to the vineyard together as our
I think that
first-
should be like our first episode back. Not from this. This should
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like the cover art.
after this.
Yeah, that should be
Oh,
that picture of us
the
with the babies.
babies.
Yeah.
we took all of our babies on a trip together, and that was the one thing that when we left the trip, me and Terrence were like, "Oh my god!" Like, we remember when Jovi was born, and she's so big now, and we're like, that felt like
Huge.
2 seconds. Like, oh, we're like, that's gonna be us. Someone's gonna be big in 2 seconds. Like, we started panicking.
Yo, I just went on a work trip and I was gone for like 4 days.
And you came
5
back?
days. I came back to see her. I was like, yo, she is huge. She's bigger than what I saw when I left. She was smaller.
It was literally crazy.
I'm like, her legs are dangling basically out the car seat. I'm like, bro,
Dangling.
what?
Yeah. Yeah, she is. So, anyways, that's basically it. That's Summer's
Beautiful,
birth story.
beautiful summer.
She is
A gorgeous baby.
a pretty good looking baby. Like I said,
Very snuggly.
I always look at her and I'm like, if I knew it was you in there, maybe I wouldn't have been miserable.
This would have been so much
'Cause I
better.
love her so much. Isn't it scary how much you like like, because I had nieces and nephews and whatever, family, whatever. But like sometimes I just look
when
at
it's
it.
yours, it's different.
I know, isn't it? It's almost like scary.
Yeah.
Like when you're looking at them and you're like, I literally love you so much. I
Yeah.
would do
Anything.
literally
Yeah.
anything, to the point that it scares myself. Like the things that I would do for the child in my head that I think about, what, just like whatever, maternity leave.
It's crazy
I'm
having your own.
It's insane. I'm like
even before I had Chovy, I'm like, I never liked to hold babies, no matter who it was. And
now
that's all I want to do.
Babies.
Yeah, now that's all I want to do is just hold her.
Yeah, when Jared first met Summer, she definitely gave him baby fever. So you never know.
Yeah, she did actually. Yeah,
we might be on another DWA announcement before the end of the year. Who knows?
Another pod baby coming through.
Which reminds me, whenever we have merch again, which we will, because
we're definitely some onesies.
We need to get
some onesies. Yeah,
they just say DWA on it.
Yeah,
so cute. Anyways, this is what we are at this point, just rambling.
But no, I mean, for anybody who was wondering,
yeah,
where we've been, what we've been doing,
parenting,
yeah,
which, yeah. So we'll release this one as like our little like we're still here, don't forget about us, and then we'll come back on full tilt in the fall, which will be in September, the third year of the pod. Yeah, 2019.
3-year anniversary.
Even though we took a hiatus, September. That's still a long time, and I'm excited to get back going. This felt good.
81.
It felt good to shake the cobwebs off today.
Let me see how many episodes do we have. We have 96 episodes. So this will be the 97th.
We have to get to 100.
Yeah, so
it's lit.
It is lit.
And we're back outside for real now. Like,
yeah, things are open.
Yeah, so
we should have a little DWA.
I know we always said that before the pregnancy, and then, in the winter, COVID got crazy again. But listen, things we are. I'm feeling really good about the comeback.
I am too, but I think if we had a party, it'll look a little different than the previous one. Maybe some babies will be there.
Oh, have a little, family friendly party.
Yeah, have some babies.
You're right. The first one we were wasted out of our minds. Oh, how things have changed.
A lot of drinks.
Wasted. Hot Mess Express. Anyways, so
do we remember how to close this thing?
How do we close this? I think that I say. What do I say? Oh, if you like this episode and the podcast, we're back. If you're happy that we're back, leave us a rating, leave us a review on this episode, whatever it is that you do. Tell somebody that DWA is coming back. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend and tell a friend. And yes, follow us on the socials. They will be active again.
I thought you were going to say you don't remember them. I was like,
I ain't gonna hold you. I pulled them up just so I don't say the wrong thing. Done.
Pulled them up.
Done with Adulting Pod on Insta. Done WTH Adulting on Twitter. Twitter hasn't been touched in ages, so you can follow. You can interact.
Dust the tweets off.
Yeah.
No, you know what we need now?
A social media intern?
Well, yes, we've always needed that, but no, I'm talking about what form of social media we need now.
TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. We're back to the Reels and the TikToks.
We have to get on TikTok. It's the new thing. I got to watch it. I literally feel so old because I was thinking the other day, I was like, well, we should get the podcast on TikTok. And then I was like, I don't even fucking know how to use TikTok.
I don't know how to use TikTok
And I was like, I'm going to have to look up a YouTube video of how to use TikTok. Am I a dinosaur?
Yeah.
Yes.
We are.
Is the answer. So.
We're washed parents now.
Washed up parents, perennials, as they like to say.
Perennials, ooh.
Yes, that was the name of the other parenting episode we did.
It was.
Don't listen to that. Actually, we need to archive a few episodes.
I don't know if y'all can hear Summer, but she might be making her debut.
Is she? Oh gosh, that's our
cue.
Can
you hear that?
I can, but I don't know if it's through the headphones.
You don't have the headphones. I can hear everything.
We're done here, people. Okay, catch us.
Over and out.
Over and out. We'll be back. Excited to be here. Keep it real. Keep it real. Oh, now she's really lit up. Oh God.
Everything.